In our last class, we just discussed the syllabus that we have to discuss throughout the semester. And from this class, I'm going to start the first chapter, first unit. Okay. Uh, in the first unit, if you remember, this first unit is very, very important, very conceptual, and it's important from the examination point of view also. And it is divided into three subtopic. So first, I'm taking the first subtopic, that is company, a certain important thing related to the company we will discuss here. The first thing here is what is the meaning of company? What is the definition of the company? And for that, the first thing I'm taking is the definition, because I think you all are aware every statute, and generally it is section 2 where the definition is there. See, in every statute, in every law, you will find that there are certain things or certain rules of the legislation formation or the statute drafting. In the first, in every section or in every statute, you will find the name of the the statute. Like this particular statute is the Companies Act, and this is known as the short title of the act. Okay. Then whenever you will open any statute, any act, or you can say any law, then you will find the long title of the statute. On the right hand side of every statute, you will find the date mentioned, and that is known as the date on which that particular statute come into the existence. So if it is a central legislation, it is the date when the president gave its assent. You can understand it by opening the first page of your Companies Act, where the name of the act is written here, the Companies Act. You will see it, but I think it will be like the mirror image, ulta dikhega. The Companies Act 2013. Under that, there is the small number, okay, of that particular year. Like here written is 18 of 2013. That means it was the 18th bill that was presented of the 2013. Then on the right hand side, you will find a date. This is the date on which the president gave the assent. See, the parliament has three organs: Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and the president, and by which the law is enacted. Then after that, you will find here is the long title. The first is the preamble, and then the long title. Okay. And then the first section is generally in every statute is about short title, extent, commencement, application, and these three things you will find. And the application is the date. If a certain date is defined, then that act will become enforceable from that particular date. But there is another requirement, that the act has to be published in the gazette. If it has not been published in the gazette, it will not come into the force. Okay. uh, in certain statute, you will find that some provision of the statute come at one particular date forcible, and other to some other date, like in the Partnership Act. Okay. Similarly, like our constitution, some provisions of our constitution became applicable from 26 November 1949, and rest from the 26 January 1950. Okay. Then the second section is generally is of the definition clause, and here this definition clause is very, very important. Why it is so important? Because it gives the scope to the legislation. For example, we have Indian Penal Code, And there is section 299 that talk about uh, culpable homicide. And section 299 says that whoever with intention causes death, and then there is the you know, whoever causes death by doing any act with intention of causing death. This is the language of section 299. The question is, suppose there is one person who is non-vegetarian and he want to eat you know, one what do you say, cock or chicken, and he killed a cock, and the other person who was just vegetarian, he, you know, shocked by seeing all these this incident, and he want to file a case. And his argument is that section 299 of the Indian Penal Code is saying that whoever causes death by doing any act with intention of causing death, and it nowhere says that whoever causes death of the human being, because that word human being has not been written there. And so इस आदमी ने just to eat the flesh of that bird, he killed that bird. And so section 299 has been complied, or section 299 has been attracted here. And you know, he approached to the police officer that registered the FIR. Now the question is, and this question to you also, that whether section 299 has been complied with. That means whether this person has caused the culpable homicide as defined by section 299 of the IPC or not. Yes, guys. सब लोगों ने आईपीसी पढ़ा है ना? अब से कह रहा नो, और किसी को यस नो लगता है, किसी को? यस बताइए. Yes, Mr. Abhishek, why no?
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are very much audible.
Sir, according to section 299 of the IPC, it says culpable homicide. इसमें सर जो टर्म यूज किया गया है वो होता है होमिसाइड. होमिसाइड का मतलब होता है किलिंग ऑफ अ ह्यूमन बीइंग बाय अनदर ह्यूमन बीइंग. तो सर
But that is just the marginal note. The section, and then this name of the section, this is known as marginal note. The operating part is the law that is written after that. And in the operating part, there is nowhere written that it has to be the human being. So yes, there are certain rules of the interpretation of the statute, and one you have very well explained, that if there is a confusion, or if there are two interpretation possible to the operative part, then we can take the help of these are the internal aid we called under the interpretation of the statute. Internal means these are the present in the statute itself. But then also, you know, this creates the problem someone argue in the another side. Okay, my point is here that see the IPC, it's very well drafted, we all accept, we all say, and that if this thing, or if this provision is confused, has the two interpretation or confusion, then we can take the help as Abhishek said. But before that, we have to explore more in the IPC itself. See, there are definitions. The whole chapter of IPC, chapter 2, is about definition. And there is section 7. Section 7 of the IPC says that every expression which is explained, and if it is used in anywhere in the IPC, it will take the same meaning. And then section 46 says that it defines basically death, that the word death denote the death of the human being unless contrary appears from the context. एंड हियर कॉन्ट्रेरी तो अपीयर होगा ही नहीं, बिकॉज कल्पेबल होमिसाइड उसका मार्जिनल नोट ऑलरेडी कह रहा है. एंड सो हियर डेथ मीन्स as defined under section 46 of the IPC, read with section 4, death means death of the human being. And so the person who killed the bird will not be treated or will not be said to be cause the uh, cause the culpable homicide, or you can say the section 299 will not be attracted. Okay, so this is the beauty. So my point is, if this word has not been defined, then it would be the problem. And then, as Abhishek said, we have to take help with these marginal notes. Sometime the chapter, this is under the chapter offense against the human body. So when the chapter in which this particular section is located is saying that it is offense against the human body, that means it referring the death of the human body also. But these are only applicable when there are two interpretation possible, when there is the confusion in the section, when there is you can say the words are not clear. But before that, legislature has to make and clarify the word clear. If this word has not been defined, it will take, there are two scope. Either this death will limited only to the human being, or it will cover to every person, every you can say animal on this planet. And that's why in every statute you will find definitions. यही इम्पोर्टेंस है definitions की, because without definitions your statute or the scope of your statute will not be clear. Okay, and so in every statute you will find one particular provision that is related to definition. Now our constitution is also uh, you know uh, statute, and constitution also has certain things that has to be defined. So what is, or which is the provision that define the the definition clause of the you can say constitution. And there you will find, I think, section 366, article 366, that have the certain terms that use in the constitution as defined there. But because it is the fundamental document, so we have not put there at the beginning the definition thing. Okay, so this is the important. Now this is just the discussion to make it interesting, that the word company you will find throughout this statute. So the first thing is to define that what is company, because there are different types of the enterprises by which one can do the business. One is the partnership, से भी आप business कर सकते हैं. Second is limited liability partnership भी होती है. Sole proprietorship भी you can do the business. And the fourth one is the company is also by which we can do the business. So the question is that what is the definition of the this word company? And for that, we have to approach to our statute where this word is defined. In the Companies Act 2013, this word has been defined under section 2 clause 20. Yes. किसी के पास है the statute bear act? Please read it. Mr. Abhishek,
Yes, sir.
do you have statute? The
Yes,
bear act?
sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir, I have.
read section 2 clause 20.
Section 2, Clause 20. Company means a company incorporated under this Act or under any previous company law.
Yeah. So see, the word has been defined, but it will not lead us to any result. Company means company. ये तो कोई definition नहीं हुई. So this definition is not helpful. But it saying more than that. Company means the company whether that is registered under this act or under the previous law. Company means company under this act or under any previous company law. So any previous company law means if any law that was in the force before this act 2013 came into force, if that earlier statute also define a particular institution as a company, then it would be company. Now question is what is previous law, and for that there is section 2 clause 67. Yes, Abhishek, read section 2 clause 67.
Section 2, clause 67. Previous company law means any of the laws specified below.
Hmm.
Uh, Subclause 1, acts relating to companies in force before the Indian Companies Act 1866, Act 10 of 1866. Subclause 2, the Indian Companies Act 1866, Act 10 of 1866. Subclause 3, the Indian Companies Act 1882, Act 6 of 1882. Subclause 4, the Companies Act 1913, Act 7 of 1913. Subclause 5.
Okay, just stop it. So, under section 2, clause 67, you will find that if a particular institution is defined as company even before 1866 by any law that was in force, or if it was defined as a company, वो क्या थी क्या requirement थी, the law is not going in that. But if that is defined, if it is defined company under the Companies Act 1866, then under the clause 7, if it is defined by that institution as a company even under the Jammu and Kashmir act or Jammu and Kashmir law. The seventh, if under the Portuguese Commercial Code related to societies animus, if a particular institution is defined as a company, that would also be company. The registration of companies Sikkim Act, because Sikkim was not the part of India before before this particular date. And so if a particular institution was defined as a company, and after the merger of Sikkim, if we will not define that institution as the company, so that would be injustice to that particular institution. And so all these previous statute or this definition is here with a purpose, that maybe the definition, the requirement of incorporation of the company have changed. And if the legislature has defined a company in the new fashion, so it will create injustice to those institutions that was already registered, that were working, because there are many companies who were registered even 100 years back, and these companies are working very well, and making society benefit by those businesses. And so the definition is basically the focus or emphasis of the definition given under section 2 clause 20 is not to define or is not to give the glimpse that what constitute company, rather it indicating that any institution, if it is defined under any part of the India, whether it was under the Jammu and Kashmir or that territory that was under the Portuguese occupation, this Puducherry, that French and Portuguese occupation, this Goa, Puducherry, etc., or under any other, like the Sikkim was the area that was not earlier under the uh, Indian dominance. Okay, so if that is the particular institution, if registered as the company, then it would be the called as the company for this particular purpose. But the problem for us is then how you will define, and for that we have to take the another thing, and that is that the common parlance, how we understand in the common parlance. And in the common parlance, the company mean a group of the person associated together for attainment of common end. That common end may be social, economic, and to large extent publicly and socially responsible. But this is also not the exact definition. This is just in the common parlance. You can say the company means the association of the person. Now come to the next step, that is the literal meaning. And to the literal meaning, that what exactly the words used to form this word company will have the meaning. So this company is made up of two words, com, com, and panis, panis. Panis means bread and cum means with, and it is derived from the Latin language. So basically, or originally, it was referred to those person who took their meal together or who earn their food together, or that means the persons who do the business activity by which they the money by which they take the meal together as a company. Much helpful to us to understand as a young company law student. And so we move to the next step. And this next step is that certain, jurists also have defined the company. One is the definition given by learned judge Lindley, and he gave this definition while deciding this case of Solomon versus Solomon, that is first case given in your case material. And how he defined the company, that company is an association of many persons. कंपनी एक एसोसिएशन है काफी लोगों की, टू और मोर देन टू, many means two or more than two. So the company is an association of many persons. Of this concept of many, one and many, एक and अनेक हिंदी में ही पढ़ा होगा. So many means two or more than two. But see, if new definition one person company, this concept we have that एक आदमी भी कंपनी रजिस्टर करवा सकता है. So originally अभी कितना चेंज हो गया है 2013, and that's why legislature intentionally has not defined company under section 2 clause 20. So company is an association of the person who contribute money or money is worth to a common stock and employs it to the common trade or business and who share the profit. So basically there are three things. One is that there may be two or more than two person, and these person पुट देयर मनी और मनी इज वर्थ, कोई प्रॉपर्टी या मनी वो साथ लगाते हैं एक किसी बिजनेस में, एंड देन जो प्रॉफिट अर्न होता है दे शेयर बिटवीन देम. So these three things are important for formation of the company. And further he defined that the money that these person put in the stock is known as the capital of the company, and the person who contributed are known as the members of the company, and the proportion in which they share the profit is known as their share. So in this manner the Lindley learned judge has defined the company. Then there is another jurist, Hannay, or another you can say person, Hannay, who defined that company is incorporated association, because Justice Lindley has not clearly defined the partnership and company have a difference, and this difference is very very vital and very important. But the definition of Lindley has not differentiated the partnership with the company. How he defined the company, in the similar fashion the partnership will work. And so Hannay has rectified or rectified it. Hannay said a company is incorporated association which is an artificial person created by law having separate entity with perpetual succession and common seal. In company law, a company is a legal person, a separate entity from capable of surviving beyond the lives of the its member. तो हैने कहता है कि कंपनी जब इनकॉर्पोरेट करते हैं, एक प्रोसेस है जो रजिस्ट्रेशन का, उसके बाद में उस प्रोसेस को बोलते हैं इनकॉर्पोरेशन. एंड व्हेन कंपनी इज इनकॉर्पोरेटेड, so this company in the eyes of law will become a separate legal person, though it is not natural person, it is artificial person, but it has separate entity. And it is perpetual succession. Members जाते रहते हैं, आते रहते हैं, शेयर लोग खरीदते हैं, शेयर दूसरे शेयर होल्डर दूसरे आते जाते, बट कंपनी सेम चलती रहती है. एंड द कॉमन सी, लाइक गवर्नमेंट हमारी है, तो गवर्नमेंट में लोग जो 1950 में जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बनाए, जिन्होंने साइन किए या जो लोग थे, वो लोग तो सब चेंज हो गए, बट इट हैज द परपेचुअल सक्सेशन. ओके, नाउ रीड सेक्शन 9, that what Hene said is actually correct or not. Yes, Mr. Abhishek, read section 9. Abhishek, Mr. Abhishek,
Yes, sir.
section 9, read section 9.
Section 9, sir.
Ji. Effect of registration.
Wait a second, sir. Yes, sir. Section 9, effect of registration. From the date of incorporation mentioned in the certificate of incorporation, such subscribers to the memorandum and all other persons as may, from time to time, become members of the company shall be a body corporate by the name contained in the memorandum, capable of exercising all the functions of an incorporated company under this Act and having perpetual succession, with power to acquire, hold, and dispose of property, both movable and immovable, tangible and intangible, to contract and to sue and be sued by the said name.
Yes. So see, this is very, very important. And many aspects of the company law depend on it. That after incorporation, the company will become body corporate, and then again it define, it will have perpetual succession. It can acquire the property, tangible, non-tangible, that mean IP, the intellectual property right, that is non-tangible, tangible, movable, immovable type of property, and all these things. And this shows that after incorporation, the company will become a separate legal entity. As per section 3, two-person can register a company, that will be the private company. 7% minimum required for registration of the public company. So suppose two-person goes for incorporation. When they will come back, they will get the certificate of incorporation. They will come not 2% but 3% in the law. Two are natural person and one this artificial person. And so here is the concept that is very important. It make the difference between the partnership and the company. पार्टनरशिप, दो बंदे पार्टनरशिप बनाते हैं तो वो दो बंदों के कंजोर्टियम के कलेक्शन को ही पार्टनरशिप कहते हैं, कलेक्टिवली उसको फर्म कहते हैं, बट वो एक सेपरेट लीगल पर्सनैलिटी नहीं होती है. And here the company will be the separate legal personality other than these two members who form the company. But the question is, what is this person that I use many times? So the person, and how we actually find out that whether a particular thing is person, whether a particular institution is person or not. So my question to you, that what is person? What is your understanding of person, that legal person or person? How you will define the word person? Yes. Any of you know this thing? That what is person? See, there are many aspects, and after the discussion of this class, it will open your mind to even analyze some other things also. Yes, Shivani Rai, what is person in the law? How you will define person? Yes, बताओ, कोई तो बताओ भाई. शिवानी, अभिषेक,
Yes, sir.
uh, Abhishek, how you will define person?
Sir, I'm not sure whether my answer will be right or wrong.
No
Uh,
issue.
I have just a rough idea, sir. So, a
जी.
person is someone who can sue in the court of law or can be sued.
Yeah. So that is, you know, that is the, you can say, the test by which you can find out that whether a particular entity is person or not. The person, as Gray has defined, the Gray has said that person is an entity to which rights and duties may be attached. Like we all natural human being who live in India have certain rights. In our constitution, various other statute will give rights, and we are at the same time we are under certain liability. See, every statute, the statute can be defined in two. One is the substantive law and the procedural law. Like the IPC is substantive. The substantive law is that law that determine the rights and liabilities. So if you talk about section 299 of the IPC, it give rights to every one of us that no one should cause our death, and the liability on rest of us that you are not supposed to kill any person, otherwise there would be death. And so the law that have rights and liabilities, the law that determine rights and liabilities is known as the substantive law, and the procedural law is that law that define the procedure by which the remedy is accessed, is known as the procedural law. Now, the Salmond define that a person means any being to whom the law regard as capable of rights and duties. Any being that is capable is person, whether it is being human or not. Like one example I want to give, but before I think someone, Babita has raised the Babita.
Yes, sir. Sir, I was telling the definition of person by according to Indian Penal Code
Yeah, okay.
mentioned in section 11.
But
That
section 11, section 11 is just inventory that these things will not be as person. Actually,
yes, sir.
it is not defining. It is just inventory. Okay. So वैसे person क्या? See, एक example देता हूँ. I think you will all enjoy and will get. Suppose you are going on a road. Okay. And then one bull. दिल्ली में है ना काफी सारे वो आवारा सांड. One bull hit to you and you suffered injury. आपकी जो है बोन ब्रेक हो गई. कैन यू FIR दिस पर्टिकुलर एनिमल of causing grievous hurt? सबसे है क्वेश्चन. You are going in a jungle or you are going somewhere in the rural area and one leopard has attacked on you and caused the death. Can that leopard be booked under section 300 of causing murder of you?
No, sir.
Why not?
Sir, it has right
Sir,
but
because
not liabilities.
Yes. So animal means animal does not have rights or liability. Sometimes students argue that there are the some law, the animal that what you say that not causing suffering to the animals, but that does not mean it has the legal personality. Only the legal person are subject to liabilities and entitles to the right. Suppose you have a property और कोई नहीं है, सारी दुनिया से आपका मोह उठ चुका है, and you have a pet dog है, and you want to transfer your property to this dog, can you transfer it? वो मूवी में तो दिखा दिया था
There are
अ- अ-
cases where person transfer their property to dog, but I don't
no,
know.
no,
It
it
can be on.
cannot, cannot, it cannot be to the individual because they does not have the legal personality. But yes, there is another way. You can create a trust by which the profit or the benefit will goes to the that particular types of the animal, so that can do. Otherwise you cannot transfer. आपके घर के पास एक बहुत अच्छा पीपल का पेड़ है, and you have the very good faith in the Hinduism, and you want to transfer this thing to the this particular tree, can you transfer it?
No, sir.
No. So all these examples gives the idea that in the law we have to find out a legal person. The legal transaction will be done only between two legal person, otherwise it will not be done. And that's why it's very, very important to define the legal person. This legal person can be the natural person like we all human being, but all natural person are also not legal person. Like in the Hindu Marriage Act, a woman can get the divorce from the person who became sannyasi, who renounced the word, जो दुनिया को छोड़ चुका है, हिंदुइज्म में होता है ना, जो दुनिया को छोड़ चुका है, ही इज नो लीगल पर्सन. वो अपना पहले होते हैं ना नागा बाबू टाइप से, पहले अपना वो पिंडदान करते हैं. यस अभिषेक.
हाँ, सर मेरी एक स्मॉल क्वेरी थी सर.
जी
सर जैसे अभी आपने सर एक डॉग का एग्जाम्पल लिया, मान लीजिए सर इसी जगह हम लोग किसी नदी का एग्जाम्पल ले लेते हैं, रिवर का. जैसे मान लीजिए
okay,
कि
okay, I will come to that point. You know, this problem was created that there was a judgment by the Uttarakhand High Court, but you know that is something important. I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that.
ओके सर.
Okay, so here is that even some natural persons are not you know the legal person, and so they are not entitled to rights and not entitled to the liability. उनके बेनिफिट के लिए आप कुछ चीजें कर दो. बेनिफिट तो आप अपने घर के प्रिजर्वेशन के लिए भी करते हैं ना, तो लेकिन घर घर आपका लीगल पर्सन थोड़ी हो जाएगा. बेनिफिट के लिए तो आप अपनी कार के लिए भी होते हो, उसमें मोबिल ऑयल देते हो. some students sometimes argues that there are some laws for the benefit of the birds and animals, so that does not mean that these birds and animals are the legal person. Now the things that I said, that the person who renounced the word, his wife can get the divorce because he is no more the legal person in eyes of the law. On the same side, on the another side, one thing I said, that all natural person are legal person, but there are some persons who are though natural but not legal person, like the person who is sannyasi. That does not mean the person who just wear the you know that saffron cloth, etc. The person who renounce the word. Okay, so that. And another is that artificial person, that though they are not natural person, हमारी तरह वो बोर्न नहीं होते, मरते नहीं है, गीता का ज्ञान उन पे नहीं अप्लाई होता है कि जो पैदा हुआ वो मर जाएगा, बट दे आर लीगल पर्सन बिकॉज लॉ ट्रीट देम, लॉ उनको ट्रीट करता है, इसलिए वो लीगल पर्सन है. एंड सो दीज आर द पर्सन हु आर इंटाइटल्ड टू राइट्स and they are subject to liabilities. And so these persons are created by law, and so these persons sometimes known as artificial person, juristic person, or simply you can say legal person. Okay, so legal person is a broad term that contain natural person as well as artificial person, but you know that thing also you can use. Now like the state, it is a legal person. The Delhi University, it is a legal person. Indian Railway, it is the legal person. तो रिक्वायरमेंट क्यों होती है? बिकॉज लॉ में इसकी रिक्वायरमेंट होती है. अगर आप उसको लीगल पर्सन नहीं करोगे तो ना उसको राइट्स दे पाओगे, ना उस पर लाइबिलिटी इम्पोज कर पाओगे. एंड दैट्स व्हाई लॉ रिगार्ड सर्टेन थिंग्स एज ए लीगल पर्सन फॉर आवर कन्वीनियंस. Okay, now what is the test to find out टेस्ट अभिषेक ने पहले ही बता दिया था, एंड सेक्शन 9 आल्सो यूजिंग दिस वर्ड मे शू एंड बी शूड, जो अपने नाम से केस कर सके और जिस पे आप केस कर सको इज ए लीगल पर्सन. Section 300 of the Indian Constitution say that the government of India may, should or be should in the name of Union of India, and the state may, should or be should in the name of that state. And that means this provision made the government of India and the state as separate legal persons. लो ही बनाएगा. And we have section 9 by which after incorporation the company will become a separate legal person. This provision, this type of the provision you will not find out in the partnership, and so the partnership or the firm will not be a separate legal personality. इसीलिए तो जो बड़े बड़े बिजनेसमैन होते हैं सारी चीजें कर जाते हैं, बाद में कहते हैं कि कंपनी ने किया, कंपनी लाइबल होगी, वो अपना प्रॉफिट लेके भी company responsible hoga. But how actually it is done we will discuss in the detail in later on. Now come to the the next aspect of it, that we can find out if the word is written there is should or be should, and it is made either by the statute itself, या तो statute में ही वो लिखा होगा या judicial authority उसको recognize करे. समझ रहे हो? Like in every statute you will find out, like the RBI, like the Delhi University, like a bank, you will find out that there is a provision that make that particular institution as a legal person. If that provision is not there, then it would not be. So there are three ways. Either the parliament specially will make it like the LIC, RBI, or some special statute make that, or it is registered under the Company Act. So as such the company you are forming, तो उस कंपनी में तो आपने नहीं लिखा, लेकिन कंपनी को जब रजिस्टर करते हो तो सेक्शन 9 के इफेक्ट से वो सेपरेट लीगल पर्सनालिटी बन गई. So these are the three ways. But yes, intervention of the legislation is required. The second is if the court recognize that particular thing, like the legal status of unborn person, legal status of dead person, legal status of animal, and the legal status of our religious site like temple, mosque, gurudwara, etc. So in case temple is a legal person, and so the property we donate, and there is also logic, reason behind it. Otherwise, when you are giving the property, to whom you are giving the property? Pandit ko de rahe ho kya? No, to the god, to the temple. And so the idol is the legal persons. So I think now we exceed the time. The rest of the discussion we will discuss, we will done in the next class. Just coming to the Abhishek's query, he said, see, the Uttarakhand High Court proactively in the judgment said that Ganga is an legal person. Okay, that means like the temple, like the Gurudwara, the court recognized that it is a legal person, and then the case was in the High Court. But see, it creates the problem also. Yeah, how the idol, the legal person, then the minor is a legal person. Minor कैसे करता है? By the next friend. छोटा बच्चा भी तो होता है ना. So idol is the minor, and the priest is the person who take care. So ये राम लला नहीं, जितने भी सारे idol होते हैं, they are लला, बच्चे होते हैं. Idol like minor होता है ना. minor भी तो 18 साल से पहले काफी सारी चीजें नहीं कर सकता है. So कौन करता है फिर minor के behalf पे? So same thing will done. Okay, Abhishek. So, but then I think that is before the Supreme Court, that case is there, and I'm not aware whether judgment has come or not, but it is just under the consideration, because there are certain problems also when you are giving a particular institution as the legal status or as a legal person. Yes, Manik, you want to say something?
यस सर, मीडिया लो का लिंक आ गया था सर अभी, सॉरी
ठीक
सर
है,
इंटरप्ट
ठीक है,
करने के लिए।
ओके, नो नो इशू.
नो इशू।
So
थैंक यू सर।
with this
with
today,
this today,
just you switch off your mic. So with this today class is over. The rest of discussion we will done in our next class. Okay, bye bye guys. See you.
Thank you, sir.
ओके, थैंक यू सर।
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.